The land is quiet, but it isn't at peace. The mountains stand tall, the rivers cut deep, and the wind carries stories of blood and justice. Out here, every shadow hides a secret, and every road is marked by the boots of men chasing lore. Running from it, this is where power shifts with the pull of a trigger, and survival depends on how fast you draw. From the ashes of Yellowstone, a new story begins. And the Marshals are riding in. The first look at why. Marshals opens with the weight of the West pressing down. A lone rider cuts across endless plains, the sky burning red as if the land itself remembers the wars that came before. This world is raw, stripped of comfort, a place where men and women are tested by the ground they walk on and the enemies waiting at every turn. The Yellowstone Saga may have closed its chapter, but the scars remain, and those scars are now. Guarded by the badge, federal marshals arrive not as saviors, but as symbols of order in a place that has never bowed to rules. Their presence is not welcomed by all. For some, the badge is a promise of protection. For others, it's a threat, a chain meant to tame the wild. Every lawman who enters this land knows one truth: justice has a price, and most are not willing to pay it. In the distance, towns rise like fragile outposts, their wooden fronts painted with false promises of safety. Behind those doors, deals are made, lies are whispered, and power shifts with every handshake. The Marshals step into these streets carrying the weight of justice. But justice itself is heavy, and it does not come without blood. The story unfolds. In silence, first hooves echoing on dirt roads, spurs striking the ground, a badge catching the last rays of dying light. There is no need for words, because in this world, actions are louder, and fear speaks in glances. From the lawless to the loyal, every man and woman feels the ripple of their arrival. The Marshals are not legends. They are flesh and blood, haunted by their pasts, driven by duty or revenge. They stand as walls against chaos, even as their own hearts crumble. This is not the tale of simple heroes and villains. It is the tale of people carrying secrets, of choices that draw the line between law and lawlessness. The West is not kind, and neither are the men who claim to bring order. With every outlaw they face, every family they protect or destroy, the story of why Marshals deepens. This is not just a sequel, it is the rise of a new kind of fight, one where justice is written in dust and fire. The West has always been a place where survival comes before mercy, and why Marshals makes it clear this is not a story of easy victories. The badge shines, but behind it are men and women carrying broken memories, each scar carved by choices they could never take back. The Marshals do not walk into a land of peace. They step into a storm already brewing. The towns look small from the outside, with painted signs that promise food, drink, and safety. But behind those thin walls is a world ready to break apart. Every saloon hides whispers of rebellion. Every ranch holds grudges older than the men who carry them, and every outlaw knows the Marshals are coming. But the truth is, the Marshals know it too. No one rides into this country without leaving a piece of themselves behind. The tension stretches like a rope pulled too tight. A simple card game in a corner tavern can turn into a brawl that spills into the street. A stolen horse isn't just theft, it's a warning, a spark ready to set fire to entire families. Alliances are made and broken over land, water, and power. But what no one forgets is that every deal has blood on it. The Marshals walk in carrying law, but law is just another form of power. And power is dangerous when everyone is desperate to survive. A man in chains today might be holding a rifle tomorrow. A handshake today might turn into a trigger pulled. At dawn, the West doesn't forgive weakness, and every mistake is paid in dirt and death. As the trailer unfolds, we are pulled deeper into the lives of those who wear the badge. One Marshal is driven by loss, his family buried on land stolen by men who still ride free. Another is a woman who carries justice like a shield, but behind her steady eyes lies a secret that could undo everything she stands for. And then there are the marshals who blur the line between justice and vengeance, men who use the law not as protection, but as a weapon. These characters don't just enforce the rules, they challenge what justice even means in a place where survival often demands sin. The story doesn't ask who is right or wrong, it asks who is willing to stand when the smoke clears. The outlaws are no less human. They are fathers trying to protect their sons, daughters who watch their families ruined by men in suits, drifters who have nothing left but a gun and their pride. They do not see marshals as heroes, they see them as enemies who wear a different kind of mask. In why Marshals, there are no untouchable villains. Every enemy has a reason, every crime has a story, and every fight is fueled by something more than greed. That is what makes the conflict burn. It is not just about law and order, but about survival, loyalty, and the thin line between freedom and control. And through it all, the land itself is a character. The mountains loom like judges watching every move. The rivers carry away secrets, washing blood downstream where it disappears, but is never truly gone. The plains stretch endlessly, a reminder that no man, marshal or outlaw, can ever truly own this country. The land belongs to no one, and yet men will kill and die to claim it. The marshals understand this, even as they fight to carve justice into the dirt. They may carry authority, but the land is bigger, stronger, and more unforgiving than any badge could ever be. Why? Marshals isn't about good men bringing peace, it is about broken men and women stepping into a world that resists being tamed. Every moment is charged with the weight of choices, and every character is forced to face what they are willing to sacrifice for power, for justice, or for the people they love. The West doesn't care about laws written on paper, it only respects laws written in courage, violence, and sacrifice. And as the trailer makes clear, the marshals will be tested until there is nothing left but the truth. The storm finally breaks, and why? Marshals. The silence of the plains gives way to the roar of hoofs, the crash of gunfire, and the burning weight of betrayal. This is where the story sharpens, where glances turn into showdowns and whispers become bullets. The marshals are no longer strangers stepping into a dangerous land. They are targets. Every outlaw, every family with a buried grudge, every powerful man hiding behind wealth sees them as a threat. And when the first shot is fired, the entire West holds its breath. The trailer cuts fast, shadows moving through the night, hands hovering over holsters, doors slamming shut as lawmen ride in. A marshal throws down his badge on a table, his voice cold, his eyes tired, but his will unbroken. Another stares across a courtroom filled with men who'd rather see him dead than see justice served. The tension never lets go. Even in daylight, the air feels heavy, as though every sunrise brings another chance for the land to swallow them whole. The outlaws move with cunning. They are not wild men without cause, they are organized, bound by desperation and loyalty. To some, they are villains. To others, they are protectors fighting against a system that seeks to erase them. In this way, the marshals are caught in more than just a battle of guns, they are caught in a war of perception. The people of the towns watch closely, choosing sides not by law, but by survival. A rancher gives food to the marshals one day and hides an outlaw the next. A saloon girl whispers a warning that saves a life, but only after selling a secret that nearly costs another. Trust is the rarest currency, and no one gives it freely. The weight of personal struggle grows heavier. One marshal, torn between duty and blood, discovers his own brother rides with the men he has sworn to bring down. Another, a woman with iron resolve, is haunted by the cries of those she could not save. Her badge a reminder of promises broken as much as promises kept. These stories twist together like strands of barbed wire, cutting deeper the longer they hold. They remind us that every choice has teeth, and no one walks away without scars. But even in the darkness, the trailer gives flashes of hope, small, fragile sparks that refuse to die. A father shields his daughter as a marshal pulls them to safety. From a burning home, the boy, once lost to the streets, learns to ride under the watch of a weary lawman. There are moments where humanity refuses to be buried under the dust. And yet, every light comes at a cost. Every victory carries the shadow of the next battle. In this world, peace is not free, it is borrowed, and it must always be paid back. The land itself grows more violent as the story builds. The skies blacken. With storms, rivers flood, and fire consumes the dry grasslands. Nature mirrors the chaos of men, and the Marshals are forced to fight on every front against outlaws, against betrayal, against the very earth that tests them. Horses charge through. Rain, gunpowder flashes against thunder, and the trailer drives home one truth. The West is alive, and it is merciless. This section of the story doesn't ask who will win, it asks who will endure. It shows that wearing the badge is not a shield, but a weight that drags a man closer to the edge with every decision. The Marshals stand battered but unbroken, not because they are fearless, but because fear is the only thing keeping them sharp. Their world is not about triumph, it is about survival, about carving a path through chaos without losing themselves completely. Why Marshals shows us that heroes are not born, they are forged in fire. And even then, they may not survive the flames. The West does not end in silence, it ends in fire. Why Marshals builds to its peak with a fury that cannot be contained. The final stretch of the trailer unleashes the storm in full. Every shot cut sharp, every sound a drumbeat of war. The Marshals ride not as strangers now, but as marked men and women, hunted by those who fear the badge more than death. Dust rises like smoke behind galloping horses, and the echo of gunfire rolls through canyons like thunder. In this land, justice does not arrive with a handshake, it crashes down like lightning. The trailer stitches together its climax with fragments of chaos. A marshal slams his badge into the dirt before drawing his gun. A barn burns in the distance as children cry out, the flames painting the night sky blood red. An outlaw stares coldly into the dark, his revolver raised, the weight of vengeance heavy in his grip. And through it all, the land itself, rebel storms sweep across the plains, floods tear through quiet valleys, and fire consumes whatever peace was left. The message is clear. No one walks away untouched, not lawmen, not outlaws, not the families caught in between. The tension pulls tighter, every frame daring the audience to breathe. A woman marshal shouts against a crowd, her words lost in the roar of angry men who see law as a chain, not a shield. A loyal deputy falls to betrayal, his blood staining the badge he swore to honor. A man rides alone into a canyon, shadows closing in around him, the sound of rifles cocking echoing off the stone. And then the silence of a heartbeat before chaos erupts. Gunfire lights up the night, fists crash against bone and the ground. Itself seems to shake under the weight of violence. Yet within the storm, the trailer plants its seeds of legacy. A marshal, battered and blooded, whispers to a frightened child, justice always costs something. Another, standing at the edge of a cliff with enemies closing in, refuses to step back. These are not just men and women upholding the law, they are writing the law with their sacrifice, carving it into the very earth. They are more than protectors. They are the thin line between chaos and survival. And though some will not live to see the dawn, their fight ensures the world will remember them. The final montage surges with raw energy. A bullet whizzes past a marshal's head. A knife glints under moonlight. Horses charge through rain. There, riders shouting with rage and defiance. A badge, cracked and stained, lies on the ground as boots step over it. The music builds, pulsing louder and louder, until the screen is consumed by a single, powerful image. The Marshals start catching the firelight, gleaming through the smoke. And then the voiceover delivers the final blow, low, steady, unshakable. From the world of Yellowstone comes a new law in the West. The title slams onto the screen with the force of a hammer. Why Marshals? Season 1, the flames fade into black. The echo of gunfire lingering as a whisper of wine carries the promise of more. A final message burns across the silence. Coming soon. This is not a story of peace. This is not a story of heroes. This is the beginning of a new fight, where justice has no mercy, and survival belongs only to those willing to bleed for it.